What motivates me? I would say it kind of starts with family and branches out from there. Certainly my kids, I've got a young son and daughter and my wife here in Vernon, but the Vernon community, the community that I live in, kind of start with the neighborhood and branch out from there. It's the people that you live with, you work with, and you interact with that motivate you to do better, to make an impact on that community. But it's not just necessarily Vernon or the town that I'm in. I'm Eastern Connecticut, and part of my attraction to Access are my ties with Eastern Connecticut. I grew up in Ashford. I worked in the Willimantic area for quite a long time after college and after law school. And I spent time even out and working in Pomfret, with the New England Laborers Training Academy. So when I look and think about community, it starts with home, it goes into the town, and then for me, it really is a big chunk of Eastern Connecticut, the state of Connecticut. So those are the things that motivate me because, well, I care about these people. I care about where I live. I think we live in a beautiful area. That helps motivate me. So it really is caring about my home and the people in my region. Sure. So my motivation really aligns with, the commitment to access and being on the board of directors, um, to make a difference for people in the community, right? To give them things that they need access to help them. I have kind of dedicated my career to public service, working for a nonprofit and for the state of Connecticut. And I can see in my community the needs that we have. So I want to make sure that people are taken care of. Helping people is why I got into the law, to help them with their legal troubles, but also help them understand how to be an advocate for themselves. And that's something I see that Access does for folks is they help people understand what they are entitled to and how they can get help and help themselves, whether through housing or employment services. So I can see an alignment with my motivation to help this community by my work through Access. So most immediately in Vernon, I'm thinking about our infrastructure, and that includes transportation for folks. Transportation is an issue throughout Eastern Connecticut. Even as you get further into Talon County, and accesses range, transportation is a problem because if you can't get to a job, you can't work a job. If you can't get there regularly and on time, it is a challenge for folks. And then you run into issues with housing. So transportation is a big one out here, especially for seniors, and folks of low income. So transportation is one of them. I think about infrastructure in Vernon, particularly through my work on the Board of Education. Our infrastructure is aging. We have schools that are 100 years old. We live in a poorer community to some of our neighbors, and we can see them building schools and redoing schools. So I want our children to have access to the best technology, to the best facilities, where they don't have to worry about the quality of the building or the constraints that an old building places on both the teachers and the students. So I think about that sort of access as a challenge, right? When we have an aging infrastructure in communities that can't afford to fix it. I do think about in our neck of the woods and throughout the country, economic inequality right now, but not just economic inequality, but access to economic mobility. When I think about the cost of education now, and the payout for getting an education, whether that is through higher education or through trades, that it just can't keep up with the cost of living. So there's an imbalance right now, and I'd love to be, I love that for me to, I'd love to, sorry, I would love to be a part of a change in that area in some way, whatever it is. And I can see it through my work in Vernon, potentially with helping uh, expand access to trades for folks to understand what the opportunities are within different trades, for kids to see it as a career forward to learn a trade. So those are things that I'm thinking about. Those are challenges I think that we're going to have to face one way or another, and I'd love to be a part of some of those things. And I think Access does a great job on a lot of different fronts that can help focus on these things that need addressing. So I think there are a lot of barriers to some of the change that's needed right now, and part of it is getting buy-in from folks to understand that we can tackle some of these things. A big barrier right now, I think, is that people are overwhelmed. There's two sides to it. One is being overwhelmed by everything that's going on, by the accumulation of problems that we see, which leads to a sort of apathy. That's the other barrier, an overwhelmingness and then an apathy of, I don't know what we can do, right? We're kind of just stuck in this cycle. How can we possibly fix our schools? How can we do these things? How can we get good jobs for people, provide affordable housing? It all seems insurmountable. So I think those are some of the barriers to people. And I think there are ways to combat that. And I think it is, um, we've got to show that progress is possible, whether and that could be through small things, small victories, even just improvements that people can see in some of our infrastructure, or celebrating. In Vernon, for instance, we've had improving test scores. That needs to be something people can see and know that it's happening. And when you celebrate your wins and publicize them, you get rid of some of that demoralization that's kind of spreading around. So if you can get rid of that and you can eliminate some apathy, people might want to get involved and make a difference. So I think we have to be, I think it's hard right now. It's very hard right now, but where we can celebrate our wins and broadcast them, especially in the nonprofit world, and show that we are making a difference, we can give people hope and hopefully eliminate some of that apathy. Yeah, so my feelings on leadership at this time in history, and I can see it on the local level, it's chaotic. It's chaotic and causing fear. And we can see it in our education budget, and in the town as well. There are no shortage of instances over the last 10 months or so where we have been scared that we are going to lose funding for vital positions, positions that really impact individuals of low economic status and also those with special needs, right? And seeing that the threats that come down from the federal government, and the chaos that they create, that can impact families on such a real, visceral level, is scary, right? And I think the biggest thing that we need in leadership is you need consistency and honesty, right? Those are some of the characteristics. We don't need chaos. We need predictability when we're crafting a budget and making a path forward. We need predictability. We can operate in any universe. I believe we can overcome a lot of challenges, but when there is chaos that's thrown into the equation, it makes it very difficult to know what the next steps are. Um, so those are that's what I'm seeing on that level, and what's funneling down to our municipalities, our nonprofits, all these folks trying to do good work is that we do not have predictability and we have a lot of chaos. When really we're just trying to do good work and get things done, and it makes it very difficult. So anything else about me? I mentioned it a little bit, but I really do love Eastern Connecticut. I grew up here. I love the area. I am so thrilled to be getting more involved in my community and in the community at large in Eastern Connecticut through Access. Um, I really do want to make a difference on the board and help this organization grow in any way I can. It's why I got involved. That's why I have a legal career, is to help folks. So, but also help folks help themselves, help them be advocates for themselves. I think that's such an empowering thing to do. So that's kind of why I'm here and what I want to help. I want to help Access become the best that it can be. And however I can do that, that's why I'm here.